Games back in the day of the Sega Mega Drive and the NES used to be hard. Whether this was because we were younger back then, inexperienced with games, or just that games generally had a lot more jank to them, we found them hard. And back then there were no checkpoints. Get a game over and you had to start right back from the start of the game again. But did this make us quit? Did we give up from dying 2 hours into playing the game? Hell no! We played those games again and again until that game was our bitch. There's a certain satisfaction that comes from learning something new, and using those skills to conquer something. This used to be the case with almost every new game, each game pioneering new gameplay styles for us to discover. But at present, games are not like this. Not wanting to take risks and wanting to be all-inclusive are just some of the reasons why games have gotten easier. And though games may offer harder difficulty modes, many games are designed around the normal difficulty, which can in turn make playing harder difficulties unfair and unfun. Back in 2009, I had already hit the point of finding games too easy. I wanted something more challenging. I wanted something that would test my skills as a gamer. And that was when Demon's Souls was released. I bought the game on release date and played it. Phalanx was slain on my first try. I managed to create a shortcut in the smithing grounds, but then I tried the Tower of Latria. I had yet to die, though there had been some close calls. I leveled up. I was feeling confident that I could handle anything the game threw at me. Then, lost in the tower, I fell down a hole. One that had a bottom though. I continued onwards, terrified that I might lose all my souls, and then was killed by a mind flare. I closed the game, turned off the console, and traded it back into my closest game shop the next day. It was the first time I had rage quit something, and I wasn't proud of it. Games at the time had taught me that they should be easy, that death meant losing 5 minutes of progress at most. I thought I had prepared myself for Demon's Souls, boldly traversing its landscapes, but really, I'd been a terrified mouse, keeping my distance from enemies and slowly creeping my way through its worlds. Looking back now, dying was not failure, but giving up was. 2 years later I decided to try again. Dark Souls had just released to critical acclaim, and I was eager to prove myself that giving up before had just been because of the jank of the game. I started up Dark Souls and made my way through the Undead Burg. I died this time, many times, but I didn't let this deter me. I had no idea what humanity did or how the systems of the game worked, but finally I forced myself through to the Gargoyle boss. I had no idea I could summon help, but I managed to defeat them after a few tries and rang the bell. It was there that I quit a Souls game for the second time. The reason this time was because, like before, I had gotten frustrated. Usually games would spell out their systems for you, but Dark Souls did not. I really wanted to feel that feeling as to why these games were so beloved. I wanted to enjoy the challenge and the mystery of it all, but unfortunately I didn't find that feeling. However, 4 years later, I finally did. Bloodborne. I had decided this would be the final time I would try a Souls-like game. This time I had a friend round, as we had decided to switch turns playing the game when one of us died or came upon a bonfire. Naturally, we were met with death and frustration, but because my friend was there, I didn't want to give up like before. And then finally, I felt it. And after completing Bloodborne, I went back and conquered Dark Souls, and I loved it. The first aspect of difficulty being rewarding is being difficult but fair. You're going to die a lot in Dark Souls. In my 80+ hour run of Dark Souls 1, I must have died over 50 times, and out of all of those times, I think only once did I think the death was not my fault. Compare this to a rhythm game. There might be a part of the track that has you alternating between pressing triangle and square, but you hit X accidentally and it causes you to fail the track. However, you know the reason why you failed, and you know that that section will be coming, and you will be ready for it next time. Dark Souls is the same. Whether it's enemies hiding behind corners or learning the moves of bosses, knowledge is power in this game, and you the player will be ready for it next time. The other reason is needing to learn completely new gameplay patterns. The latest shooting games may not seem difficult, but that's because we as the players have played so many of them. Our experience and skills transfer over from game to game, and when a new game comes out, with nothing new to learn, we are effectively already at the best we can be, our only growth in the game coming from dusting off our skills and learning the small things like maps in the game. Dark Souls is different in that it brings a lot of new things to the table. Every new boss is something new to learn. Yes, we already know the basics, but every boss is like a new dance that we don't know and need to practice. Effectively, what makes Dark Souls hard is that it's constantly forcing us to learn new skills we have yet to learn, but it's also rewarding with the freedom in which it allows us to tackle its content. Every boss and every enemy can be beaten in multiple ways. Mindset. Learning that failure is not a bad thing. What I had not taught myself back in the day was the mindset that failure is okay. I was so used to games being easy for me and never really dying, so when I died in Dark Souls it was crippling. I concentrated so much on the progress lost from the death and not enough on what I had gained from it. Over time with Bloodborne and Dark Souls 1, I managed to come around to a mindset that failure was fine, that every time I died, as long as I learnt something from it, then it was in fact a success. This made eventually defeating that boss all the more rewarding. Dark Souls doesn't tell you anything. One of the main reasons I stopped playing Dark Souls 1 the first time was because I didn't understand what anything did. I think some may enjoy this, but I did not. I had no idea what humanity did exactly. I knew it made me look human, but what did that mean in the game? I think secrets like these can be fun to find, but when you have a full-time job and limited time, well, thank you, Internet. I came back to Dark Souls a few years after dropping it, and played the first few hours while on a Skype call with a friend, who wouldn't tell me anything, but would answer any question I had in terms of the game's systems. And I can't tell you how much more I liked the game because of it. Knowledge is power in Dark Souls. What can seem an insurmountable challenge can actually be really simple if you know how. As such, if anyone feels this way, I would recommend using the internet as training wheels of sorts, at least until you feel like you're able to stand on your own 2 feet without it. I hope my message may have gotten through to anyone watching, and implore you to give that Souls game a second shot if you dropped it once before. And this mindset isn't restricted to games. Failure will happen in life, but what matters most is that you learn from that failure, and that you don't give up. I hope you enjoyed my story. Please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. If you'd like to check out the book I'm currently writing, there will be a link in the description below. This has been That's Effin' Rich, and I'll see you in the next one.